wow, what a day. What a brilliant game of football as well. Congratulations to Sunderland, promoted to the Championship. Congratulations to Wycombe Wanderers. It must be said, not your year at Wembley this time around, but fair play to Sunderland. Of course, I'm a neutral, an Oxford United fan, lucky enough to get some tickets in that Sunderland end. I've been following League One throughout the entire year. Fascinating campaign, one that I've thoroughly enjoyed here on the podcast. And what a romantic way of ending it. We're going to that League One final and watching Sunderland finally, after some painful years, it probably would be said from their perspective, in League One, promoted to the next level of English football, into that Championship, as they look now to really build on this. And I can imagine, as a football club, that they're in a pretty good place. And I think the fan base and the morale across the fan base and across the entire football club is probably at one of its highest it's ever been. I probably would say it's at the highest it's ever been in the last 3 years at least. We will be looking at the game. I'm sure a lot of Sunderland fans won't be too bothered about the performance. Now, of course, they are promoted this year. However, we will be looking at that. We'll be looking at the man of the match. We'll be looking at how the tactics really affected the game as well, and how positive I thought Sunderland were in the game and dealt with Wycombe to an absolute tease. Of course, we'll be looking at that. Also want to talk about the amazing atmosphere. That played a huge part in the game, in my opinion. And what does this mean for Sunderland now going forward? We'll start off talking about Sunderland and the way that they approached the game, because I said in the preview, this was a game where you very, very rarely see a side, both sides really, play to the level that they at their best ultimately, and they play the level that they can be when they are at their best, because of the importance, because of the magnitude, and because of what's on the line ultimately. But to be fair to Sunderland, they were very, very good. They were exceptional at points in the game. They dealt with Wycombe, I think, well, they didn't really have to deal with them because I think they were so good, they didn't really allow Wycombe to really get going and allow them to really have to be, too good defensively to be honest, Sunderland, and that wasn't really a problem. It was about them really gaining some real control in the game, some substantial control, because we know Wycombe, they don't have control, it doesn't really matter to them. They can play the way that Wycombe play, and Gareth Ainsworth has really got Wycombe to play. They don't need ultimate control, but they were so much in control, they were so good in possession, they created so many really good chances. It could have been more than 1-0, could have been more than 2-0. They won't care now, of course, but in the game, when we look at the entire game as a whole, that really could have been the case. But fair play to them. They definitely took their chances when they needed to. They could have taken more, but again, that's not a problem. And of course, I'm a neutral. Well, not a problem now anyway. It would have been if they'd gone on to lose the game. But I was a neutral in the game, in the stadium, in that Sunderland end. And of course, the nerves were absolutely nowhere near, of course, the extent that they were to the Sunderland fans around me. However, I wouldn't want to hear this, and I didn't ever think about saying it when I was there. Even at 1-0, I thought they looked comfortable. And the reason for that was they were just dominating the game. They weren't allowing Wycombe to do anything they wanted to do. And I said in the preview, they had to score first. Sunderland had to score first in the game, and they did. Because if Wycombe, and this is credit to Wycombe, and we can go 1-0 up, the game, it's not dead, obviously, but it's very, very difficult for Sunderland if we can go 1-0 up, because they're so well organised and so well drilled from being 1-0 up in the game. So Sunderland taking the lead, 12 minutes in as well, very, very early. For Sunderland, it's perfect, of course. An early goal is perfect anyway, but, in a game like this against Wycombe, it's an absolutely brilliant start. And it really forced Wycombe to do something they didn't want to do, because as a Wycombe fan, the plan not as a Wycombe fan, but as a Wycombe fan, of course, and probably as a Wycombe coaching staff and as players as well, I think, to be honest, the game plan would have been, can we keep it tight, and how long can we keep it tight for? Can we get, let's say, till 10 minutes of the game, 1-1 or 0-0, or just level, to be honest, or even if they 1-0 down, they could maybe get something, but definitely a draw. Keep it really tight and make it so that Sunderland are really panicking. I don't really think Sunderland were panicking at any point in the game, and maybe when they were a little bit, they went to get their second goal. That second goal then came, and they looked at absolute ease in the game, looked so in control, and that is down to Alex Neil being so good with those tactics. He went back to the 5 at the back in the game, and it sort of switched, around here and there, went to a 4 at the back there as well, so it was a little bit all over the shop at points, but definitely worked brilliantly well, and whatever formation they're playing at different points in the game, I think it worked to an absolute T, to be honest, from a Sunderland perspective. I thought there were some really, really good standout players. We'll talk about Alex Pritchard in just a second. I thought even Patterson, their goalkeeper, claimed crosses brilliantly well and definitely stopped the way that Wycombe wanted to play. Of course, Wycombe's game plan is get balls in the penalty area, cause problems in the defence, in the box of the defence. And because the goalkeeper being very, very, I think, confident with coming out and claiming the ball, that worked brilliantly well. Of course, scoring that early goal in 12 minutes, Elliott Embleton, not a Wycombe goal they normally do concede, allowing them just to run through that midfield. And then it was a really good strike from Elliott Embleton, but one you definitely feel that Stockdale should save him. The form that he's been this year, and the sort of goalkeeper that he is, you'd expect him to be saving that. Looked like a deflection, looks like it wasn't a deflection in the end, but a brilliant goal, you'd say. But again, I mean, it's a good strike, isn't it? However you look at it, but the goalkeeper definitely should be doing better. Either way, it's a brilliant start to the game, and it forces Wycombe to then have to play a little bit differently, and that's not what Wycombe want to do. Normally, it's Wycombe that want to be forcing the opposition to try and change the way they play. Like they did against MK Dons, you wanted to force MK Dons to put balls in the penalty area and do things they don't normally like doing, and sort of play it into the hands of Wycombe. Sunderland absolutely said, we're not going to do that. We're going to play our own way. We're going to trust in the process, trust the sort of the game planner, and trust the style of play, which is absolutely, I think, provide a brilliant game of football in the attacking sense. You've got to score when you're that sort of side, because Oxford like playing, as an example, Oxford like playing some attacking football, but we've seen this year as well, you can play a lot of attacking football against Wycombe. They beat us 2-0. Played some really good stuff. They just bullied us. They didn't allow to be bullied by Wycombe, and they absolutely deserve to win the game. I don't think many Wycombe fans will be coming away thinking they should have won it. Maybe some hardcore Wycombe fans maybe thought that they got a little bit maybe unfortunate maybe for some decisions, but again, nothing really to shout and scream about. If anything, I think Sunderland probably could have had a penalty in that first half. VAR was in place, but didn't even look like it was really involved in the game at all. So again, that was a bit of a bonus for some people. Like I said, we've got to talk about Alex Pritchard, such a creative spark in that midfield. We knew he would be, and he certainly was. But Patrick Roberts as well, thought he was such an exciting player down that right-hand side. Such a difficult player to defend against, because he can be so direct with the way that he attacks. He also can cut inside and put a ball in the penalty area. Such a unique player, but at this level, I think, really does stand out. And, in a game like this, you need players like that to stand out. You need players to really, I guess, come out of their shell a little bit, because in a game where there's 70-odd thousand fans in a League One player final, which by the way is absolutely incredible, what an advert for League One football that is, over 70,000 fans at Wembley Stadium. But when you've got a game of this importance with that much pressure, with that many fans behind you, you need your big players to come out and make the difference. I thought Sunderland definitely had that, whereas for Wycombe, there is a bit of a downfall. I mean, other than the fact that they didn't really get Sunderland in any sort of worrying position. The main players you sort of would highlight didn't really look like they were not on it, but on it, if that's the best way to put it. I thought Sam Vokes had a few chances and a few headers that went over the bar, definitely some half chances, and then a really good save from Patterson that was forced upon him, but a really, really good opportunity, one that Sam Vokes normally would be taking. Thought McCleary had a half decent game, but nothing to shout and scream about. Thought Obita was okay, but not brilliant, then got taken off. Akinfenwa came on, tried to be the bullying striker that he is, of course, retiring this season. So fair play to him. What a brilliant career he's had, but not a brilliant end to his career in terms of, it would have been nice, of course, to get promoted, I imagine, to finish off your career. It wasn't to be there, but he tried to come on, but he didn't really offer too much at all. And I thought, to be honest, Sunderland, like I said, I come back to them. I don't want to be, too harsh to Wycombe, but I thought, you've got to just give Sunderland that sort of credit with the way that they approached the game and the way they didn't really allow Wycombe to sort of use their dark arts that we know they can do so well. But other than that, I think it was just a brilliant atmosphere, and I got to touch on the atmosphere. I got to touch on the day itself. I thought the fans were fantastic. Of course, Wycombe fans, not one to sort of shout and scream about with not many chances, not the best day out, I can imagine. But still, to come out in that sort of number, 20-odd thousand fans coming down from Wycombe, not the biggest club, I'm sure they won't mind me saying that, not the biggest club in League One, but a brilliant support, a brilliant outing from them. Definitely got behind their team. And then for Sunderland, well, we knew they got, of course, a huge fan base. Well, they really showed that sort of fan base and the quality of their fan base this afternoon. Over 50,000 fans in Wembley Stadium supporting the Black Cats this afternoon. And well, they really did help their side. They really got behind their team. And the moments where you thought they really need the fans to sort of help them out at this point, and they really need the fans to really get behind them at sort of the patchy moments in the game. Probably some less patchy moments than they maybe thought they were going into it, but certainly some moments where you really need the players to really get some sort of confidence, but not really confidence, some real sort of backing from their fans. They certainly offered that. And of course, the celebrations are brilliant. You saw in the matchday experience, hopefully you did enjoy that. You saw the fans show how much it means for these Sunderland fans to get promoted and get out of League One. It's been such a torturous time. I think probably the best way of describing it, a lot of Sunderland fans would describe it as that. However, I come back to it. League One, over the past few years, and it's only getting harder and harder. Such a difficult league to get out of. So for them, there'll be more than relief than anything, to be honest. Over a long time trying to get out of it. They finally do get out of the league, and fair play to them. And good luck next season. Hopefully, we'll be joining in the Championship next year, Oxford United, but it won't be easy at all. We talk about the teams coming down. We talk about, of course, the relegated teams, but also some really exciting teams in the league already, also wanting to get promoted. It's going to be such a challenge, but one that Sunderland this year can come away, feel like they've succeeded very, very well. So congratulations to them. Thank you to all the Sunderland fans that have sort of been just watching a second really of the content over the past year or so, 2 years. You've commented, you've been brilliant. A lot of Sunderland fans do watch the podcast, I do believe, and hopefully you have enjoyed it across the last season or so. And I thoroughly enjoyed your company. It's been a brilliant, brilliant year. And of course, this afternoon as well, you were absolutely exceptional and certainly deserve, after the performance today, to be promoted to the Championship. So fair play to them. I've been Jack. It's been the Unfan Podcast. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, of course. The season is now over. However, the content doesn't stop. Got a really exciting collab coming up on the podcast, coming out hopefully in the next few days. I've got my team of the season, got my sort of review across a lot of different things. So the content doesn't stop here. So subscribe, leave a like as well. We'll be back next year, of course, the last match reaction of the year. So thank you, all of you that have watched the podcast with these match reactions across these last and got maybe the playoffs. You joined us. Maybe you've been here for the entire year. Thank you so much. You all are very, very much appreciated. I'll see you all very, very soon. I've been Jack. It's been a fun podcast. See you in a bit. Take care.